No, I just found that I had a bunch of them airdropped to me like from the previous wave, so I was like, I'll give some of them away. But yeah, so we're live
Yeah,
now.
content too.
Um, yeah, so this is gonna be episode 59 of the GameFi rundown. We have Paz here. This is gonna be the first episode of 2025. Mostly Illuvium here. There's a lot of stuff over the past 2 or 3 weeks that we didn't cover on Illuvium, so we're gonna do that today. So Paz, how you doing? How was your new year?
It was really good. We had a small party, but nothing too crazy. I don't like hangovers anymore. I feel old, so I don't do too much drinking anymore. No, it was a good New Year. How about you?
Yeah, yeah. I was just telling you before stream, like it was. I mean, I'm pretty low key, like you were just saying. Like I'm in my mid 30s now. I'm not a heavy drinker, but my brother just got married last night. I mean, I know for you, I think you're already on
Ooh.
January 2nd, but it's still the first for me. So
Yeah.
last night my brother got married, so there was the whole wedding stuff all day, the reception into the new year. I lost my voice a little bit. I'm gonna try to make it through this episode, but yeah, it was good. I'm glad we're here in 2025, and I'm ready for a really good year. With Illuvium, with just crypto and gaming in general, like I think it's going to be a good one.
Yeah, it's gonna be
Uh,
the year where we make it or break it, and I'm heavily on the side of making it, and I believe I got big,
yeah,
big
I
hopes.
mean, if we get to what January 1st, 2026, a year from now, and we haven't made it yet, then I'm going to be worried at that point. But right now, I do think this is going to be the year. We have 365 days to make something happen. Um, But for
Sure.
anyone in the chat right now, you're only going to be able to do this on either the YouTube channels or I believe Twitch. X won't work, but type hashtag prize in the chat, and I'm going to give away two of these cosmetic standard discs. I found that I got a bunch airdropped to me from a previous wave from buying discs, so I'm going to give away two today. So type that in the chat, and you will be eligible for that. And
All right.
and we'll just kick off this first segment here. So we had a big. Let me share my screen. We had, let's see, we had this Illuvium patch 1.3.3, so it was a pretty big one. But there's been other smaller patches or bigger patches over the past month or so. And since you're our arena expert here, you're our gauntlet expert, um, tell me how you feel about these changes. What are the big things that came from it? How is it changing the game? Just tell me more about that, because honestly, I'm not playing Gauntlet as much as I'd like, but I know you're still playing a ton.
Yeah, I try to keep up with it also because we're hosting tournaments, so I need to be like on the pulse of things to know what's going on. Also, I'm competing myself in tournaments, so yeah, I'm still fully in it, fully committed. And I think the biggest change that we had like a while ago was bringing in the Ranger, which was needed a lot because this finally opens up more composite affinities. So because the Ranger can be magma, it's easier to get magma. Because the Ranger can be whatever, you can get those composite affinities and composite synergies. The problem I think has been that it opened up a complete new shop. So you had, besides the illuvials you were rolling for and looking for, you also had another shop next to it with weapons and suits. They have streamlined this a little bit, where now you find one suit and one weapon per shop reroll. But this basically means it's completely impossible to find a stage 3 suit or weapon because you only get one of them per round. So it's essentially like what, 5 times harder than finding the illuvials,
Hmm.
kind of like that. So if the composite synergy is not stage 2, it's still not easier or doesn't make it more accessible to get those synergies, and the team is still working on making this better and making this perfect and streamlining aligning it. So yeah, I hope they come up with more ways to really do this. My idea, I thought it was genius, but nobody's really jumping on it to actually skip the stage 1 and start with stage 2. So you start with one composite synergy on your weapon, and then you find 3 copies of it. You get to stage 3, you have both composite synergies activated. You wouldn't need to nerf the weapons a lot, like it would be definitely would need a lot of balancing. But yeah, that's what I thought would work a lot to make it easier. But there's many ways. People have suggesting like carousel rounds where you just find weapons and suits. or you can just pick whatever you want. So yeah, that's I think the biggest one that sets us apart from TFT, and that I'm really excited for. But we still need to find a good way to implement it. I think, or
Yeah,
a better
I'm
way.
sure they'll
It's already.
I'm sure they'll come up with. They're constantly making updates and making the game better. We've heard Kieran say that this has been their biggest focus, and it's going to be really ready to go. Soon in 2025. Hopefully for some like really big tournaments. But yeah, just in my experience playing, like because I'm not the greatest player here. I still need to work on my whole economy of the gauntlet. But like I struggled to get to that tier 3 or the stage 3 of like those higher tier alluvials. So I'm mainly going like, oh, where are my tier 1, my tier 3 alluvials? Let me get those to the stage 3, because if I start going at it like going for a ramfire or something, like I never get to that point. So now you're adding in weapons and having to do the same thing. Like that's gonna be tough. Got
Yeah, it
TSG
is
in
quite
the
tough.
chat.
TSG, what's up? Happy New
What's up,
Year.
TSG? Yeah, happy New Year.
Yeah, and it definitely plays different than TFT. In TFT, oftentimes you don't go for those stage 3 or 3-star units. You're just happy with finding stage 2s of the higher ups, like a ram fight would be enough to carry you and stuff like this. But there is where it really plays differently. And if you want to win a lobby, you have to get those big win conditions, which are your tier 4 stage 3s, tier 5 stage 3s, and stuff like this. But yeah, that's all about economy. Like you say, you have to kind of take a win streak into the late game, have a really healthy economy in the late game, so you have enough money to roll down. And yeah, I'm
Yeah, gotta
making
work
guides
on that.
about that, so I'll send you one over.
Good. Yeah, I need that because I need some help. TSG, he looks like he wants to hop up here. So let's get TSG up here. And anyone else in the chat, type
Sure.
#prize. #prize, and then I'm going to give away 2 Illuvium cosmetic discs.
I'm gonna give away 2 as well. So yeah,
You're going to give away 2?
4
Okay.
cosmetic discs. You have a bunch of them as well. I realized probably a lot of you guys have some as well and didn't realize, like us. I think, what
Yeah,
was it? You
because
go like
it went
to
to
import.
my secondary linked wallet that I had to and I went in there looking for some stuff, and I was just like, oh, I got like 15 of these cosmetic discs. So I moved them over. I was like, I'll give some away. So
Yeah,
#prize. You spelt it wrong a few times, Mister Spinator.
you spelled it French.
Oh, is that what it is?
E.
Yeah, it's gotta be in the English prize. Yeah, we'll get TSG up here. I sent him the link, but let's move on over to Illuvium Zero a little bit. Now, I don't think you're. I'm a much bigger player of Illuvium Zero, so you're the Gauntlet guy. I'll be the Zero guy. So we had
Yeah.
a pretty big update for Illuvium Zero. I know a lot of people are still disappointed with where it is. I think it's obvious that the focus has been on Gauntlet for now, but it's showing that they are still working on Zero. They're making updates, and this was a pretty big one. So we got the mega cities and we got minting of the blueprints. So
Yeah.
mega cities, there's been, I don't know how many there are out there. I would guess, I think maybe around 50 of them. So you need either a 2x2 or a 3x3, sector of land, and then it merges them all together. So then you get this whole big land, and then you can move your buildings like across all of them. Let's get TSG up here. What's up, TSG?
Go.
Can you hear me?
He's not ready. Maybe, maybe.
Yo, all good, all good. Sorry, it was
Good. Okay.
coming out of the speaker, so it was crazy. How's it going, man? Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to you guys.
Yeah, Merry Christmas,
Yes.
Happy New Year,
You
2025.
too.
How was your New Year?
Yeah, good. I was in bed pretty early, I'll be honest. Yeah, we were just chilling.
Welcome to the club.
Yeah. I think I went to bed like 10 p.m. or something like that. Just chilling out with my wife, the kid, watched a Christmas rom com, which was nice, and just kept it simple. What about you
Yeah,
guys?
yeah. We're all getting kind of old, huh? Yeah, it was my brother's wedding on New Year's Eve. So I did my twin brother actually. So I did a little speech during the reception. We partied like all night, more than I would usually do. But yeah, my voice is struggling a little bit.
All good,
Doesn't
all
sound
good.
too bad.
Man, how are you guys feeling about 2025? Just in general for yourselves, for Illuvium, for the Web3 gaming space, for I don't know, everything in general. I know I'm taking us a bit off the zero topic, but
Well, if you're gonna stick around, that's our last segment. Is that we're gonna talk about what
oh,
2025 is gonna bring and everything. So
cool.
we'll get to
Let's
that
do
in a
it.
second. But we were just talking quick about Illuvium Zero, so maybe you can add whatever you want in here. But we got the blueprint minting and we got megacities.
Mhm.
Now I don't have a megacity myself. I'd like to get one. I'm still kind of waiting to see how that progresses because right now it's I know there's still a lot more to come for megacities that aren't there yet. Right now it's basically just the merging of the either the 2x2 lands or the 3x3 lands, which does help you quite a bit in area real estate management, I guess. But there is still more to come. But the big thing that I'm enjoying right now is the blueprint minting because I've just been getting these biodatas and finding these blueprints, and now I'm ready to mint them. It's
Yeah.
actually quite a bit of resources to mint them,
Mm.
more than I expected, more than I think a lot of people expected. But personally, I like that because I've only been able to mint one every 2 or 3 days right now, but that makes them a little more scarce and more valuable, instead of just flooding the market with them.
Which I think makes sense. I think makes sense. And obviously, right now we're not seeing crazy amount of players in the overworld, which is where I think you're primarily going to see people showing off these skins. You're going to see a little bit of it in arena, but not. I think that the main thing is, especially with the announcement of the MMO Lite, I think that's kind of where we want to see it. So slowing down making sure that the market isn't absolutely flooded straight out the gate before that MMO Lite even comes to light makes sense to me. So those of us that are most dedicated can start preparing for it, getting into it, and then when that time comes, and if we do manage to bring in those players, which I think with the MMO Lite we can do, the market isn't just going to self implode, which makes complete sense.
Yeah, and there's so many different skins available even for like if you just look at the Ramfire, you have
Yeah.
there's like multiple drone skins, multiple Ramfire
Mhm.
skins for different suits, uh weapons, whatever there is. There's so many different ones and they're coming onto the market so slowly right now. And just because you get the blueprint doesn't mean you get the skin. You still need to use that blueprint with a bunch of other stuff to create
And
that skin.
correct me if I'm
And you
wrong. You
gotta,
need to learn the alluvial, correct?
yeah, you need to burn a bunch of Ramfires, for example. Like I just saw it with Seer, you need to burn 3 Seer for the Seer
Mhm.
skin.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And yeah, they're gonna be rare, they're gonna be expensive, but we see it right here on screen for the new Dawn trailer. We saw how amazing and how much like integration they will get in the MMO Lite, it seems like.
right. Yeah.
Mm.
Well, let's just move on to that next topic then. So the a new dawn. So that's what they're calling this MMO light that they're going to be working towards over this next. What's the timetable on this TSG? This year we're looking for it, right? Like later
Well,
this year.
it's ideally right if everything goes because obviously we've been working on the multiplayer behind the scenes, the combat and things like that, multiplayer service. Like a lot of the things that are going into this MMO, like stated in the blog post, have actually been done or are already currently being worked on. Were currently being worked on. So ideally, we can get it out as soon as possible. As I think Kieran mentioned in the blog post as well, like arrays is would be incredibly helpful if we do get that, and that should help with everything else. The one thing that I would really like to see here is that we don't come out with it. Yeah, there you go. uh, Something that I would like to see is that we don't come out with this without it being properly polished. I think we've seen that with Arena, we've seen that with Zero, we've seen that with Overworld, and I think with an MMO like this is our chance to. This is what I'm pretty sure all of us, maybe Paz, you were into the auto battler stuff, but myself and you, Najaf, I think when we first came into Illuvium, when we first saw Illuvium, it was this. It was like, oh crap, it's Pokemon for adults, and it's not as simple as the Pokemon game. This MMO like captures that. It gives us that opportunity to actually get to what us and pretty much I can assume 80 or 90% of the Web3 gaming space thought Illuvium was going to be. So we now have a chance to make a new first impression, and I don't want us to botch that by trying to do it too quickly. So if it does take a little bit longer, I think that's completely fine. I think the main thing here is to make sure that we have a full game loop that's comprehensive, that actually makes sense, that has an end game, an objective. Everything kind of makes it's a fun game. Once we have that going, I think that's when we put it out. I wouldn't want to see it sooner than that. That's my opinion.
Yeah, and I think we have some time too, because I mean, first
Who
of all,
likes
it's
to
not
eat
like
lizards? I call one.
I don't know what that
what is it?
is.
Wait, it's a lizard. I don't know if you can see it.
A
Jesus.
lizard? Hold on, let me. I don't. We don't get lizards where I'm from.
He just jumped on my hand.
Oh, nice. Shout out to the ETH lizards right there. ETH lizard
Yeah,
just
yeah. So,
jumped on
sorry
you.
for the.
No, good. I was just saying, like, even if we're not looking at this until the end of 2025, obviously Illuvium's not stopping to work on everything else. So we got more things for Gauntlet to look forward to. We got Illuvium Zero, um, and this I'm sure there's gonna be more updates to the overworld while this is still being worked on. TSG, I know you know, but there are still other things being worked on behind the scenes that I've been able to check out and try out, and I
You're
can't
you're
wait to
talking
see
about
where.
Breach, right? You're talking about
Yeah,
Breach. Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. I'm very, very excited
I don't know
about.
if that's a thing yet. Do people know about that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's been mentioned publicly.
Oh,
So,
okay.
ideally, a lot of the stuff. I would like. I don't want to say too much on it. Personally, I would like to see it as two separate things.
Mm-hmm.
Because I just love the roguelite genre. But I think,
Yep.
like I said, a lot of the multiplayer, a lot of the combat can be used in both Breach and this MMO, like A New Dawn.
Yep.
So I think that there's a lot of cool stuff. I'm very, very excited for Breach. I'll be honest.
Yeah. Yeah. Playing through Breach, like I could see. All right, I could see how the MMO light is going to be because of what's going on in Breach. But yeah, I can't wait to see it all put together. I still think
Mhm.
most of this community, especially the people who are just keep fudding Illuvium for no reason, like they just have no clue what's going on, and just being on the inside, like time is always the question, but like at some point we're gonna be where we need to be. Like I'm very confident about that.
I won't say there's no reason. Like I want to share some of that humble pie and be like, hey, look, like they're definitely like what people were expecting, we didn't deliver on, and that's completely
Mm,
fair. A lot of people were expecting, like I said, this MMO Pokemon esque style game. Our main focus has been an order battler, which is completely. I think it's a fine order battler. Is it where it needs to be properly competitive to Web two? Not just yet. So I mean, I understand where the hate is coming from. Uh, I do hope that we get a little bit more leeway and patience and faith that it's not easy to do when we are actively working on it and building and things like you say. There are things behind the scenes that I'm looking forward to. I was very excited when we put out a new Dawn trailer. That there are things that are being worked on, which I think will get everyone that has been a naysayer back on board.
Yeah, I'm
definitely,
really
definitely.
excited for this too. And like you said, we're gonna deliver on, or Illuvium is gonna deliver on the stuff that has been promised in the beginning. I was really happy with the auto battler side of things too when I came into Illuvium, but also just it. I think there was two promises. We're gonna have a competitive PvP game, and we're gonna have Pokemon for adults, like the dream of every child when we were young, like running around in an open world, shooting down those Illuvials, hunting them, and yeah, I'm really excited for what's to come. It's gonna be good, man.
I just had like a couple sentences highlighted on this thing that I wanted to read off, and then I tried to zoom in and I lost it. But I'm gonna find it just to give it more. Like there's like two sentences here that really show what this MMO light's gonna be. Um,
The fun thing with the MMO Lite is that we can actually play together. It doesn't matter our skill level. We can all jump in, play. And this is what I like about Breach as well. It's I think we have that PvP set up already with Gauntlet. I think what we need is a co-op, and that like a stressful co-op, like a Left 4 Dead or an Overcooked, where you're playing with your friend Diablo and you're yelling at each other, man, cover me, make sure like heal me, like that kind of
yeah,
feeling. Dota League, we need that kind of co-op play that's high pressure, high stress, and I think that
yeah.
leads to a lot of fun and a lot of blaming,
That
which
that would be great
yeah.
for streaming too. Like I could be
Mhm.
like, Paz, TSG, let's go get a fourth guy and let's just stream this. We're all streaming to different channels. We're playing through it. Like I can't wait for that.
That's
That's
what
gonna
we
be
used to
exciting.
do. That's what me, Viper, Jimbo, and Llama used to do on Left 4 Dead, and it was just so fun because of that. It was all four of us could just jump on, play. We'd be yelling at each other. Jimbo would shoot me while I went to the bathroom. I'd lose, and because I was down health, the whole team was down, and we would just be cussing each other out, and it's good fun. It's like,
Yeah,
what the hell, man? So yeah,
it is. But here's
absolutely.
this sentence I wanted to read off. So if you haven't read through this article for MMO Lite, so what it says here is: imagine an expansive MMO world where your ranger, alluvials, and drones grow in power and complexity as you play. Over time, you gain access to new abilities and equipment, discover hidden areas, and learn unique combat strategies. And it also goes on to say, like, raids against leviathans. I'm still waiting for the lore on leviathans to come out. Coordinating with other players, like you're gonna get that progression that you're not getting right now. I think everyone wants to be able to go through and be like, all right, so now I just leveled up my ranger a little bit, so now he's a little better at certain attributes, and we're not there yet. But making this the MMO Lite is gonna let people feel that progression.
Mhm.
Yeah, and it was already so sticky, the old world. Like a lot of players are still like religiously playing it. But to make it really sticky, you need that ranger progression that we never had. A skill tree, level up, get better, like feel something that you're progressing and not just by having more and more illuvials. That's just not enough, I
It's
think.
one thing I want to bring. It's not just the progression; it's the game loop. Like, what are we progressing to? What's the end game? Like, having. I always say this, and it's something that I've learned. I might have mentioned this publicly, but there's something called M MDA in game design, which is mechanics, dynamics, aesthetic. So mechanics is the rule of the game. So in this case, a skill tree. Uh, the dynamics is how that affects the player. So in terms of their player behavior, so okay, cool. I'm going to grind up and build up my skill tree. Like I'm going to spend more hours to do that. Fine. And the aesthetic, which is the feeling that the player does because of this behavior. So usually, what happens is people start with the mechanic, like the skill tree, and say, "Hey, I just want to add a skill tree because it does this." Cool, but what's the entire loop? What's the aesthetic that you're going for? What do you want the player to feel? And does the skill tree actually add to that? If it does, how does that work? And that's when you go into it. What you should be doing is focusing on the aesthetic and then going backwards. So aesthetic and then the dynamic. Okay, if I want the player to feel this way, what should they do to feel this way? And then how do I make them do that? And that's how you get to the mechanic. And I think a lot of people just say, hey, like we need progression. Cool, but why? Like how what is the impact? Well, what's the point of it? So I think if we
Yeah.
can start looking at it that way, and I agree, I think a skill tree is needed, but it's not just for the sake of having a skill tree. It's what is the end game? Why do we need a skill tree? What is it going to do for the player in the end game? Can they reset their skill tree? Can they like respec it? Like there are so many things, and why do we want to do that? Is the question we need to be asking ourselves.
Yeah. And for one of those reasons why that I think of it is like if there's gonna be three of us co-oping to defeat a Leviathan, I want to feel like I need to be playing to level up my ranger to not disappoint you guys. I want to be like I'm
Fair
going
enough.
through, my ranger's getting better, so I don't want to be the person holding back TSG and Paz from defeating this Leviathan. I want to do my part. So it's going to get me in there
Yeah.
more in playing to level up on my side.
If you're a tank, you don't want to get one shot. If you're a damage dealer, you want to be high up in those damage numbers. And yeah, a raid, a dungeon, whatever it is, that's that end goal that we can work forwards that we have seen in MMOs, right? Where you just have this end game cooperative mission that is going to be hard if you didn't grind, if you didn't have the gear, if you don't have the levels. And then maybe even without that, it works when what we see in Pokemon, where you don't have levels on your trainer, but you're at least working towards the top four and those end game big fights. Essentially, that's I guess what you need. And I was really excited when I saw raids listed. I think in there, uh, just I think everybody, as soon as we saw the first sneak peek of a Leviathan, everybody just dreamt of picking up 10 people, 5 people, whatever it is, and go out hunt that bad boy down. It's gonna be good.
Yeah. I can't wait for that. It's going to be great. Let's move on to this next topic. But you know what? Since we already said I'm giving away 2 cosmetic discs and Paz is giving away 2. So let's just give away 2 of them right now. And then if you're in one of these chats, hashtag prize, and you can be eligible for the next two if you're not in right now. So let's.
Oh shit! I clicked the button.
Did you spin
Sorry.
it? All right, then you spinned it. This is the first one.
I was
Let's
wondering
make
what the button does.
let's make note of this somewhere. Look at that. He's just saying he wants the prize. You got it, Mister Speedonator 7. All right, I'm gonna jot this down somewhere in my notes, and then we can figure out who's sending who.
That's Spedinator, by the
Right.
way.
Spedinator. Okay, let's see. Cosmetic.
Your alt account, TSP? Scamming us here for...
Absolutely. One of my many.
Spinator 07.
Feels good to be back, man. I
Spinator.
enjoyed my break.
If you win here, just drop your passport in this chat so we can copy it easy. That would be great. And then, do you still have that thing up, Paz? Do you want to just click the spin again?
I'd love to. Let's do it. Boom.
Who's gonna get it? Can't win twice. I'm saying that now. Ricky Tan, obviously. Like,
nobody's happy for Ricky anymore if he wins stuff.
Yeah.
He did it too many times.
It's just like, damn, Ricky Tan. All right, so yeah, Ricky Tan, either send your address or send it in a DM somewhere. Now back to work. Stopped in here for like 2 seconds, won a cosmetic disc, and he's getting out. I see how it is, Ricky Tan.
No, I think he's talking to me about coming back from the break.
He comes in, grabs a disc, tells TSG to work, and not be slacking, and runs away.
Yeah.
I think
all right.
So that's the one thing he doesn't need. More work.
Yeah, well, he's a new dad now. There's a lot of work going on.
Bruv, yeah. The lack of sleep is definitely hitting me.
Hey, you only got another like 2 years of lack of sleep, and then if you don't have any more babies, it gets better.
The plan is to have a couple more, so it might be a couple more years than that.
Couple more.
Yeah.
But my daughter's 9 now, and she sleeps like a rock. Like,
yeah.
When she goes to sleep, I struggle to wake her up for school at 7 in the morning.
I wish that was the case. No, the plan is to repopulate the planet, Paz. We have to do our part.
Right? Yeah. I'm gonna have to make a couple more at some point. But yeah, so this next topic, I know I've brought this up in the past, and I wanted to bring it up again. I think Illuvium needs a mobile game. Either they need to port something from what they have now to mobile, or they need something new for mobile. Because I've just been...
Sorry.
I was going to say that the game I've been playing the most, like just in my free time, has been Pokemon Pocket. And I really wish it was Web3. I wish all these cards I'm getting was they were NFTs, and they're not. But I'm just hooked to the game because it's so easy to just pull out my phone, hop on for 15, 20 minutes, or do some quick battles, open some of these packs, and then just put my phone down and go about my day. Rather than, coming to my computer, loading up the game, getting into it. By the time I get into playing, the Illuvium Overworld or even the Gauntlet, it's like I could have already had a game of Pokemon Pocket played already, and then back to work or back to something else I'm doing. So I think that Illuvium is just missing out on such a wide market right now, especially when you think of like the Philippines, who are like big into Web3, and Axie Infinity when that blew up. You need to give that population, that geographic, whatever you want to call it, whatever that word is,
demographic.
Yeah, you got to give them a mobile game. And I know Illuvium is aware of this. I don't know when it's coming.
I've seen leaks of it already. Like the Chosen was, I think, leaked. We got a little iceberg from mobile already that we see.
We've been optimizing for mobile since June, if I'm not mistaken. So a lot of the
Gauntlet, right?
Yes. So for Arena, yeah. So for anyone that doesn't know how like renders and things work, there's something called a poly count, which is like how many triangles or something. I'm not an expert on this, but how many triangles there are. the more polys, the more triangles, which means the more detailed you can get into it. And so what we've done is we started off with incredibly high poly counts for the quality that we have, and it's actually easier to start high and then go low than go low than start low and go high. So it is easier for us to do it, and it's a lot more efficient for us to do. But that process has started, if I'm not mistaken, in about June of last year. Crazy to say that I can say last year now, but yeah, last year June, I believe that's when we started to transition them. So if I'm not mistaken, most of the alluvials are actually complete in their low poly count form. Uh, I'm not entirely sure. I don't want to put a number out, but I'm almost like a vast majority of them are complete. So yeah, in terms of getting that onto mobile, it is being worked on in terms of the progress.
And
Yeah,
we're gonna get it this year, right? There is there's no doubt
Ideally,
about it in my mind. Yeah.
ideally, and like there's two things that I actually want to talk about with the mobile, and it's yes, mobile is super important. The other thing that I want us to just think about is localization, and it shouldn't be that difficult now with AI and things like that. And what I mean by that is translating the games into different languages. I forget there was we all know Storming and his Tempest Guild, like they're by far one of the biggest guilds in Web3 gaming. I would actually venture to say the biggest and most active guild in Web3 gaming. And there was a game that they had supported, and in I believe it was like 72 hours, they had localized it into Portuguese. And I was like, that's perfect. That's really smart. That makes a lot of sense. That's what we need to do. And why I bring that up in terms of this mobile topic is I go out to whiskey bars once a week, cigar bars and cigar lounges. And what blows me away is you would think that a cigar lounge or a whiskey bar is a place where people talk shop, like people talk intellectual things. And what's funny is I'm seeing people there sitting on at the bar on the couches with their iPad playing TFT, and
Okay.
that's a thing in China. And if anyone did follow the TFT opening, Macau Opens that happened in December 18th, I forget the exact date. They had, I believe it was 500 players. I believe it was one of the biggest tournaments of uh, of TFT in 2024. You could actually see that the majority of the top players were Chinese, Korean, and Japanese. And the thing about all of those countries compared to Europe, France, Germany, all of them are privy to English. They don't mind English, even if it's not localized in German, French. They can understand English. But countries like Japan, Korea, and China, they cannot. That's a hard blocker for them. I'm speaking to a couple of the top TFT Chinese TFT guys right now. They're super keen to get involved. They just can't because they physically can't. So as much as we need mobile, I think mobile is just 50% of the solution. What we need is actually the localization as well. That's how we really bring that opportunity to life. It's the mobile aspect as well as the localization. One or the other, where we're still missing a huge part of the pie there.
Yeah. Yeah, one or the other,
Good point.
or both of them. Like once you
Yeah.
get mobile and have that in different languages, yeah, that just opens it up to so many more people. And I'm not, I don't know too much about the TFT scene, but if we can start taking some of that, I think we're going to be in good shape. Especially
Just
playing,
wondering.
like you were saying, playing on iPad. Like that's how I'm going to do it too. Like I'll have my phone, but if I can play on iPad, that'd be awesome.
Oh, it's crazy all around here. It's ridiculous how, and it's not just male gamers as well in China. And I know this is very anecdotal and it's just based on my experience. But I'll be going around waiting in line for a restaurant, and I'll see females having their phone playing TFT. Anytime someone asks me what do I do when I say I work for a gaming company, they ask me what game. I just bring up a picture of TFT because I know they know what that is, and they're
Yeah,
like, "You work for these guys?" I'm like, "Oh, it's like a similar kind of game," and they lose their mind. So the love for that type of game in countries like this, Korea, Japan, is huge. Us not localizing it and putting it on mobile is I can't even imagine how many players we're missing out on by doing that. So I
yeah,
do believe that is going to be a thing that is focused on this year, and I think it's super important that we do so.
yeah.
And
And
I
I
hear a
don't know
lot
if
of
it's
people.
go ahead, pass.
I hear a lot of people talk like not really shit, but they don't like TFT or they don't like this kind of game, and it's very it's a very subjective view because it is the biggest strategy game in the world. It has taken the world by storm, and maybe it's for the IP of Riot, but I think it's just a genius strategy game, a very easy to get into, very easy to play, hard to master. And yeah, I think it was a really good move that we went into the TFT side of things, just because it is the best strategy game out there.
We,
One quick thing I wanted
mm,
to ask TFT about the China thing. Didn't we block China because we wanted to fight the bots?
I
Kind of.
believe it's now. I'm unsure of the technicalities behind it. I'm able to play. I'm pretty sure a couple of others. I speak to a couple of guys in Russia, who they now have access again. I know there was an issue with VPNs at some point. So I think they've been able to isolate VPN users from the bot farms. So I'm not gonna be. I'm not 100% sure on that. I'm not gonna claim like I know, but based on the conversation I've had with some of the Chinese influencers and Russian influencers, it seems like the VPN option is now available. But we're solely targeting the bot farmers, not just any VPN users, because that affects people in Europe. That affects a vast majority of us in the Web3 space.
Yeah, I've noticed
Cool.
that like maybe a month ago because I used to I don't always have my VPN running, but sometimes I'd have it on and off. And if I went to the Illuvidex and it was on, I wouldn't be able to do anything. I'd have to turn off
Mm.
the VPN and do whatever I need to do. But now I can leave a VPN on and still have access to that. So that's definitely another step in the right direction there.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Yeah,
All right, let's move
deviated a
on to
little
this
bit from
last
there,
top.
but
Go ahead, Pass.
no. I said I kind of took away the main topic we were talking about, how good TFT actually is in the strategy genre. But I think we said it all,
Uh,
and I
uh,
think it's just because we
yeah.
have a lot of non-sweaty people and a lot of non-competitive, like just recreational players or however you want to call them, casual players. And yeah, that's not what TFT is aiming for.
I
That's
think
not the
what the
demographic.
I wouldn't say the issue. I think what the situation is that the order battler genre is a strategically focused game, and what we have in our community, the majority of our community are casual gamers, which there's nothing wrong with, as well as investors. And I think a minority of those that we have in the community are actually strategically focused gamers, and I think that's where that disconnect is. Like I mentioned, everyone kind of came in expecting a Pokemon-esque for adults MMO style game, which is a casual game, which makes complete sense. So that's where we attracted a lot of the people, and the product that we came out with was strategically focused, which I think that's where the dissonance is. So that, and in terms of all the people that are saying, "Oh, we shouldn't have gone TFT," I can understand why they say that. Yes, it is one of, if not the largest strategy games in the world right now, especially in terms of streaming and player numbers. Whether that's to do with the IP of League, potentially a part of it. I think the reason that they say that is because they're comparing things to Minecraft, to PUBG, to Valorant, to Helldivers. And the thing is, with if you're comparing TFT to that, yeah, it's a very very small fish in an insane pond, right? Like it's just not comparable. But if you do look at it as its own thing, I think we did make the right decision. I think we just need to make sure that the game is up to par. Like the strategy of it makes sense. The execution needs to be at that point where the strategy is achieved, right? I think that's the part that we've fallen off on in the past, and I believe that we want to correct this year. Like I think Kieran's mentioned multiple times, the main priority is getting Gauntlet to a proper level. I'm already in talks with a couple of the top TFT guys who are down to try it out. I've said, hey, look, don't jump into it straight away. But we've got some things planned. Would you be down to check it out, try it out? They're like, yeah, absolutely. They're all cool. And I'm talking the top of the top TFT streamers. So they're cool with it. They're down to try it out. But we need to make sure that the game is good enough that they're down to stick with it, right? Getting to them isn't the hard part. It's getting them to stick. And that's where the developers, the game designers really need to get that polished. So like what you mentioned, Paz, in terms of the TFT thing, strategy makes complete sense. I actually agree. I think it's a right decision strategically. Execution wise, we really need to step up and make sure that we execute it adequately to achieve the strategy that we put forth.
Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. So yeah, let's move on to this last topic. And right after this topic, we'll give away two more of the cosmetic discs. So stick around for that. hashtag prize in the chat if you want to be eligible for that. But TSG, when you came on, you started asking us, what are we expecting to see like from 2025? What are our plans? Not necessarily Illuvium related, maybe content, Web3, crypto
Yeah.
related. So since you were asking, I'm going to throw it to Paz first. So Paz, what are you seeing in 2025? What are you looking forward to? What are your expectations? Any predictions? Let's hear it.
I don't want to make too many predictions and stuff. I like to just let it come to me instead of trying to figure it all out. I'm not in the game of trading and trying to predict the market and stuff like this. I hear a lot of good talk that all season is just around the corner and whatever it is, but I'll just wait and see. And yeah,
We've been hearing that
I'm
for like
not
2
trying to
years
play the
now.
market. Yeah, I'm I'm done with this. I'm trying to do my best to grind. I'm gonna keep grinding Illuvium. I'm gonna keep up with my social media. I want to maybe create another channel, maybe for something more related to like exercise and what I've been doing in the past with my snowboard teaching and maybe bring it to surf teaching or whatever it is. Like I want to expand a little bit my content creation and not just be only doing content for one game in one niche. But I
Mm.
love the Illuvium community and the opportunity it has given me. And it was such a good ride so far. And I want to keep riding that wave. And yeah, I'm really hopeful for Illuvium because I've been talking to TSG, to Kieran, and to all those people behind the scenes, to Miko, to Neil. And it's just, I know the right people. Like, I seem like the biggest Illuvium fanboy, but I just know the people behind the project. I've been here for years. So I just have this ultimate trust in the team that they're gonna make it in the end. And I've seen the plans for the next half year, or at least the outlines of it, and it looks amazing. And as long as we can deliver what we kind of set out to do, I'm so very stoked for it. So I'm super happy where I am right now. And yeah, big goals is mainly I know I can keep this grind on the computer going. I think I want to focus a lot my New Year's resolutions are mostly focused on health, mindset, and stuff like this to have a healthy balance in life. The grind is pretty easy for me with the community giving me so much support.
Yeah, yeah. Once you've been doing that grind for so long, it becomes just like second nature. Like that's how I feel. It's just the consistency of just keep doing what you're doing and just letting everything happen. But TSG, what's 2025 looking for you?
Family. I'll be completely honest. Obviously newborn, so just spending time with the family, making sure that I prioritize them. I've neglected them for quite a while. I've neglected them for quite a while, so that's definitely feels like now's the right time to focus on that. But otherwise, yeah, just work, man. I really want to level up in terms of everything that I'm doing. Something that I'm very, very happy about is just towards the end of 2024. I started really focusing on the top TFT guys, make sure that we're now in comms and everything's starting to go there. Yeah, I just want to make sure that I deliver my part. And like what I mentioned before, I think the strategy is 100% right. I just want to make sure that I do my part in that, in terms of I'm in comms with the influencers. They're down for it. Everything is ready. I've done my part. It's up to the developers to do their part. And my goal is just to make sure that I do my part really, really well. And yeah, everything should go right. 2025 should be good in terms of the market and stuff. Look, I'll be honest, I don't actually care that much. I just don't care. If that was the top, we didn't deserve to take profits anyway. Like I don't feel like it did that. It was just like, whatever.
Yeah.
So if it goes ridiculous, it goes ridiculous. If it doesn't, it doesn't. We just keep grinding and doing our thing. Keep stacking stats. Just keep working. I don't know. It's pretty simple. Just family, health, work. That's pretty much it. I know it's not very exciting, but it's pretty
Hey,
standard stuff.
we're all on the same page here. I'm continuing with the health. Family is a big thing for me too. In like you're saying, just doing your part. That's what I've learned over the past couple of years. It's like I can't rely on what the market's going to do. I can't rely on what other people are going to do. I'm just going to do what I can do, and I know I'm doing more than 90% of everybody else out there. So I'm going to get ahead just by doing what I'm doing. So I try not to worry about those other things. Like some people like, I'll be poor forever. I'm not going to be able to get to this stage doing all these things. And I'm just like, if I do more than 9 out of 10 other people, I'm
What's
gonna be
crazy?
successful
Yeah.
over time. You know?
What's crazy about that is that the bar is so low. Like to do more than 9 out of 10 people, most people just sit back and watch Netflix all day. Like that's legitimately
Yeah.
9 out of 10 people. So just doing something is above that. But yeah, man, just do things. It's one step at a time. I think that's something that it's not jumping to the finish line. It's just one step at a time, and every day just one step at a time, another step.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was I forget the exact quote, but it was a Rocky quote, where it was like one punch, one step, one round at a time, right? Like that's all you have to do. It's
Yeah.
just keep going until the end of the fight, and
Yeah.
see how you do.
Yep. That consistency. And in Paz, it's funny that you mentioned maybe making some content for like fitness and stuff because I've thought about that too. One of my big goals for 2025 is actually to leave my day job and go like full time content, Web3, crypto stuff. And when I do that, I'm gonna have a little more time. And if there's anything I know more than like crypto and Web3 gaming right now, it's like fitness and injury prevention stuff because that's what I've done as my day job for the past 15 years. So it's like if I could bring anything to this community, maybe there's I actually don't think that mixes too well. So I think there's a lot of people in this crypto web3 space that might not know nearly as much as I know on the fitness and health side of things. So I thought maybe incorporating some of that into my content somehow just cuz it's something that I already know and it's something that I'm thinking about on a daily basis. So I might as well, provide
Play
as much as I can to the
play to
world.
your strengths. Play to your
Yeah,
strengths. I always
exactly,
hear people
exactly.
say that, oh man, I'm not unique. I've got nothing to talk about. You are. Everyone is. Everyone's got like not I say special, and that sounds so snowflakey, but everyone's got their unique story, their unique experience. I was a dancer who grew up in different countries. I traveled to China. I've done this. I've done that. Like I produced music. Having all of this knowledge allows me to understand certain things. Same thing with you. You've done this. You've been a whatever it is in the fitness side. You've got this knowledge. That's what makes you unique. That's what makes you you. So double down, play on your strengths, and don't try and
Yeah,
be something else, someone else. Uh,
yeah,
it's just everyone has that thing, and all they have to do is look in the past. Honestly, that's all they have to do. Look at
yeah.
what made them who they are. Look at what they've gone through, and then just double down on that.
Yeah, and I think I fell victim a little earlier in my YouTube career, which is I've been doing it for almost probably over 3 years now, which is kind of crazy. But I started just making content to what I think the viewer wanted to see, and not that that's a bad thing. I think to get a head start, you might need to do it that way. But I'm to the point now where it's just like I'd rather just make what I want to make, and then if I gain less followers over time, that's fine. But I think the followers that I gain are going to be more engaged and more appreciative of the content that I make.
You need to find that balance, right? Like you still need
Y-
to give the market what it wants, but
Yep.
you need it to be as aligned with who you are as possible. Giving the market what it wants without being aligned to you at all is going to make you feel empty. Doing the thing that makes you feel the most, but not caring about the market at all is just going to not have any impact. So it's
Yeah.
about finding that balance of what makes you feel proper and good and what the market actually demands of the world. So
Yep.
yeah, if you can find that
I agree.
balance, I think that's where you strike gold.
I agree. I agree. Um. All right. So we're gonna close this out in a minute, but we're gonna give away two more of these cosmetic discs. Oh, look, Kaz is already spinning this thing. He's ready to go.
I
All
love
right.
it.
So here's. Did you click that already? Okay. Here we go.
Yeah, yeah.
So here's our no, we're
No,
not
no,
giving
no,
it to
no.
him. He already won. Ineligible. Ricky, you're only winning one. So we're
Get
gonna
out
give
of
these
here, Ricky.
two
What are you
away.
doing? What do you mean? Hey, GSG,
PSG
GG.
winner.
And we got one more.
Hey, I
Nice
see a lot
feat.
of the same names. We didn't get a lot of people entering into this. I don't know why. Spin it again.
Shut up, Ricky. He's probably not even here anymore. He's just taking
I know.
price after price.
Stir
Surfer
fry dude.
dude.
Stir fry dude. I don't even know how to say all these names. All right, winner.
Stir fry dude.
Send
Surfer
yeah,
dude.
surfer dude. Oh, okay, that's what it is. Yeah, send me your IMX address. I'm pretty sure we've chatted on Discord before. But yeah, anyone who's won here, send us the addresses. You'll get a cosmetic disc from either myself or from Paz. Thanks for coming to watch this show live. We're gonna try to do this every 2 or 3 weeks, Wednesday nights around this time. If TSG is in the chat and he wants to join us, he can hop in whenever he wants. Always welcomed. And yeah, thanks for TSG for coming on.
Thank you.
We lost your mic, TSG.
Sorry, I muted it. Yeah, no, I appreciate you having me. It was your first stream of the year, and so I saw you guys on. I thought it was only right. My man busy over here. He said he wasn't into crypto trading. He's making deals right now.
Yeah, right. Well, yeah, it looks like Paz is already out. I am out. TSG out, and we'll see you soon.
Enjoy, guys.